What's poppin', everybody? Random midday live stream, seeing what's going on in the world. Hope you're having a great day. We chilling over here anyway. Yeah, that sounds dope. I'm gonna have to do a reaction video to that real soon. Hope everybody having a great day though. Rest in peace, PNB Rock. It's really unfortunate what happened to the homie. As Tupac say, they keep telling me it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing around here. Extremely unfortunate. We're gonna see how many people YouTube let get this notification though. You would think with 23,000 subscribers, you will pull quite a few people, but you know how the shadow band go. But whoever gets to see this, you are blessed. You are talented, man. God has a plan for you. You have genius inside of you. Don't die with your music inside of your heart, like my granny used to say. Give your gifts to the world. Give them to the world and watch what you get blessed with. But you never know if you don't try. And most people don't try. I know I didn't for a minute. For a minute anyway. But you know how this thing called life go. It's ups, it's downs. I say life is a beautiful roller coaster. Enjoy the ride. You never know what's coming your way. So enjoy the moment, because the moment is all you really have. We gonna see what's going on today though. I'm trying to think. Nah, I don't even know about it. I seen a video. I'm sure, because I don't know how this thing is moving. Hillary Clinton and her daughter did an interview with Megan Thee Stallion. Our world is going crazy, dog. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But they say what politics is downstream from culture or something like that. Maybe that's why they're trying so hard to keep a grip on the culture. But the truth shall set you free. I think about 2030, 2035, it's gonna be a total change. I think hip hop the way it is now is dying out. It's on its last leg. The negative wave, the drill wave, because you gotta show what you're really doing. And I think people are getting tired of rappers dying every day and hearing about murder, murder, kill, kill. So God wins in the end. This thing is slowly turning around, slowly but surely. Because the negative, I don't think the younger generation wants the negativity. I don't even think my generation really wanted all the negativity. It just wasn't no outlet to get the positive information like it is now with YouTube. YouTube is a game changer, man, for young boys. I don't know what I would have done if at the age of 13 I could have consumed some red pill wisdom. God damn. I wouldn't have baby mamas and paid for all them abortions and all them other crazy situations I was in and girls keying my car. So I definitely think this younger generation they gonna lead the wave of being some real masculine young men of all races. Even though a lot of them is coming from single mama homes, they yeah, man, for sure. It's definitely some signs. It's definitely some signs. Even though it seemed, if you was to watch anything mainstream, it seemed like the liberal narrative is really, really winning. But I've seen a lot of hope in these youngsters that they find in the light. Whether it's through Fresh and Fit or Andrew Tate or Jesse Lee Peterson, Uncle Tom 2. I don't know if anybody has seen the new documentary Uncle Tom 2, but it's a really good documentary to check out. Uncle Tom 1 is now available for free on YouTube. I actually got the brim right here. But man, great documentaries to check out just to learn true history, because the world wants to keep you in a box for someone else's purpose. Where attention goes, energy flows, and whatever you're focusing on, someone else is profiting off of that. So if I can make everybody think this, like I was telling my children this morning, the concept of going to school, that's new. And if everyone was homeschooled by their parents right now, we all have different thought processes. But it's a reason we all think the same, and it's because I need to control you. I need to control the masses. But you see the charter school movement popping. You see homeschool movements popping for the younger way. So I said, man, parents are starting to take back control of their children. I know here we just had a HB 349 pass, which offers, I think, $6,000 for parents to put their kids in charter schools, and it'll help with the school supplies and all that. And I went out to the Missouri Capitol. I actually got to meet Mike Parsons and be a part of that process and testify. So, man, yeah, there's a change coming for this younger generation. I look forward to it. It was looking dark for a while. And I think that's because hip hop was so synchronized with the Democratic Party. But you see a lot of black conservatives waking up. You always seen a Hispanic is real conservative, man. I think the coolest part about Hispanics is how close their families are. Like, that's a really cool thing. There's a bunch of car lots here, bro, and the daddy worked there, the uncle worked there, the cousins worked there, the nieces worked there. And growing up black, man, our family was dysfunctional. My mom and daddy was fighting, and my auntie and my uncle was fighting. And white families, they not like that no more. They not as tight-knit as Hispanic families. And I had another thought too, man. I just be having random thoughts all the time. And I heard this quote about Osama bin Laden, and it said it was given like a week after 9/11 or whatever. And Osama bin Laden said that the U.S. government is trying to have a war between Christianity and Islam. Now, I'm not saying how true that is or if Osama bin Laden was just saying that or whatever, but it made me stop and think. You know, everything that's being pushed here in America, whether it's the LGBTQ stuff and all that, if I'm not mistaken, Islam isn't okay with most of that. And at the same time, we're allowing a lot of Islamic immigrants into America. So at some point, those two things have to cross paths. Maybe I'm tripping, or maybe I'm just overthinking things, but I'm looking towards the future. And I don't think they're going to be cool with their kids being taught, LGBT stuff in school. And as we've seen in their culture, man, they're willing to die for what they believe in. They willing to blow some stuff up to make a point. And we don't have a lot of men here currently that are willing to die with what they believe in. That's why I look forward to the younger generation, because my generation, they didn't been hypnotized and brainwashed by the abundance of porn and liquor and football games and fantasy football, man. The average man is checked out and not really in tune with what's happening to society. But the younger generation is. And so they gon' stand up against, hopefully, the homicide rate is something that's really crippling Black America. But I said, give about 2035, I think the rap culture of that side will be dead and gone, and you'll have a new vibrant community that will start flourishing. Because you got to let the dead bury the dead, and you got a lot of people see that lifestyle isn't wanted. Because I don't think it's sexy anymore. It was cool when Chief Keef Neal was jumping up and down with guns at first. It was cool when Chief Keef made Love Sosa. It was still vibing, but at this point, I think it's old to wake up every day and seeing another rapper is dead. Like, all you do is the same way I'm sitting here talking on a microphone, I just got a beat behind him, and it makes no sense that you're dying, day after day. 51.5% of rappers die from homicide. So I think that's why you're seeing such an upgraded message coming. Like I said, I think Bryson Gray is going to be really big. I think Tyson. I think anyone who can speak a real message, who's had a job and had to look at their paycheck and had taxes, anyone who's had a baby mama. I was talking to some guys at a photo shoot, and they said it'd be cool to see a president who was a recovering addict. We all are real humans in this thing. We've all have made massive mistakes. So I think the concept of the perfect politician is over. However, the concept of the victimhood politician is over. We don't need more victimhood stories. We don't need dope dealers. We need hope dealers. And everyone can relate to, he got his ass whooped, but he got back up and fought again. What was it? What did Pop say to Craig on Friday? You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. And that's the American success story. That's why I personally say that we still have a chance to redeem the American dream and share it to the masses. And it has to come from some type of man who's been through adversity. Hell, I think that's why Trump was so dope because he had, what, two baby mamas and a wife? He was rich, went bankrupt, and then got rich again. Everybody can relate to that, whether you a Wall Street trapper or you a a blue collar trapper. Everybody know what it's like to touch a large sum of money and then blow it. I do. And then you know what it's like to get it back. Right back ain't cheating. And that story, everyone resonates with that. Men, woman, children. Everybody knows what it's like to go through something hard. And then especially right now when, like I said, 80% of black boys are growing up in a single parent household. I think it's 70, not 70, but 37 to 38% of white boys are growing up in a single parent household. So when we need a lot of men, whether it's making content, going to your local YMCA, being a volunteer as a coach, we just need young boys to see masculinity somewhere. And that ray of hope will keep shining. Especially with young women. I think young women really enjoy masculinity as well. It makes them feel a lot safer. My daughter told me I'm her Superman and $1 billion couldn't replace me. And I'm sure a lot of men in today's society understands what that felt like. I'm a anomaly. I've never paid $1 for a lawyer, never stepped foot in the courtroom, but I raised all my children. I got good relationships with my baby mamas, and I just think that's because I kept becoming a good version of myself. Most men, when that relationship expires, they be envious towards the woman, and they overlook that it's their job to still protect that child and build a good relationship with their child. And that's something I can say I never did, man. I never had envy when my relationships didn't work. It's always another one. What Gucci say? There's another one coming every 15 minutes, but your child is your responsibility your whole life. And as a man, I took that wholeheartedly. I've been raising my daughter on my own, man, since she was 5. So as a man, I know what it's like to go from making Enfamil bottles and pouring it on your hand, making sure the milk ain't too hot, to watching your baby girl play her first soccer game and travel around. And man, when my daughter was born, cuz I didn't even know what private school was. And then I finessed a job at a private school. That's why I say anything is possible, man. Because I went from being a hood baby to taking MacBooks apart to hacking Wi-Fi networks to sending my kids to the best schools in Kansas City. And all it takes is for, one individual to hear a story like this and it get them some hope. I remember when I had a real victimhood mindset and I met a conservative individual. Though the first time he said something to me, he didn't win me over, but he definitely made me start thinking. However, the only conservative person who got through to me was somebody who wasn't hostile. And that's what I learned how to beat this system in the world is most people, they want to start arguing and get defensive. And I ain't got no ego. I ain't trying to force you to believe what I believe. Because I think when you really believe something in your heart, you don't need nobody else to believe it but you and God. And that's just how I am. I'm standing on my own 2 feet, 10 toes down. But when I met that conservative man and he kind of just got to talking to me, then he told me I should read Booker T. Washington, Up from Slavery. And man, that book changed my life, dog. And then I went from that to the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. And then I went to, the Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. And I just kept jumping around from books. And everything that I read in a book that was actually written by a black man was 100% different than anything I ever see on TV. And even to this day, everything that you read in a black history book written by a black individual is different than what you get from TV. And I don't know who you blame nor credit for that, because the same way I can get on the internet and I can choose to look at twerk videos all day, or else I could choose to look at audiobooks. It's a personal choice. But if you don't know that the enlightening information is there, then are you at fault? That's why I say it's a trap. But is it a brave new world, like they say, where you don't have to hide the information like in '84? But I guess in 1984 stuff is going on as well, because when you try to spread the information, then they censor you or they force you to say that's not true. Let me fact check you. Here's why. I had shared Frederick Douglass quote: "It's easier to raise strong children than it is to repair broken men." And that quote was fact checked. It said independent fact checker said that's not true. I was like, damn, dog, I don't know. So The truth has always been, in the book, The Master Key System, Ralph Waldo Emerson, anyone who's tried to push forward in life has always been hated. And as Tupac said, man, I can't guarantee I'll change the world, but I'll spark the brain that sparks the brain. That changes the world. And if there is a revolution, it's going to come from the hood. Malcolm X said that. Malcolm X said all you needed was somebody who grew up in the hood that was slowly being able to see between the lines. A question I have a lot, man, is how many people have really made it? Like they got big money, know the truth, but just don't say it. They just sit back comfortably. I really wonder that a lot because I don't think LeBron James is as ignorant as it seems. He's a billionaire, and to become a billionaire and make all those correct business moves, you got to have some type of proper intellect or somebody around you who can give you some insight about the world. Michael Eric Dyson, as educated as he seems, he has at least read a Time and Soul book for once in his life and analyzed his opinions. Barack Obama is another person where I'm like, he has to know of Time and Soul. He had to study Booker T. Washington. He has to know about the Founding Fathers and the Civil Rights Movement. He had to read the book, The History of the Confederacy. So how many of these people that are put in front of us are really here just to manipulate, just to mislead the masses? And then how many people are also blind themselves and don't even understand they misleading the masses? It's so many questions that I just randomly be having in my head. And I know I'm not the only person who just randomly has these questions, who just be thinking about the world, man. What's really happening? I seen a podcast this morning, and they said we haven't had a president who wasn't corrupt since JFK. And that's something to think about, dog. Since the 60s, every president that we've seen in front of us that stand up, that has given speeches, that has tried to believe that their way was the best way for the American people, all of them have had or been involved in some type of corruption. I don't know, man. But is there any political system in the world that isn't corrupt? Like, is it possible for humans to not be corrupt overall? Just a lot of just random thoughts I have, random questions. We all have the good and bad inside of us. And I can't say that I've 100% turned off my bad side to say. I'll just say my children have helped me control my bad side. So I wonder how many individuals do we see in front of us are really fighting their demons every day or just exercising their point of enjoying their demons, See, I don't know much about JFK. That was way before I was born, so I don't know I know he used to creep on his wife with Marilyn Monroe. But outside of that, I thought that he was like against the government and against the bankers, and he wanted to expose the secret society or whatever. Man, I appreciate it. Like I said, man, I just get on this thing and start talking, and I just want to reach people. Growing up, I never even would have thought as a child that it'd be possible to inspire. Like I wasn't even trying to be inspirational or motivational as a young person, man. I was a kid with a mouthful of gold teeth, angry at the world. I never smiled, never had a positive outlook on anything, and that's why I believe in the law of attraction. That's why I talk about positive energy so much, because the response that I be getting from my words, it's like, man, people want hope. Everybody don't want the negativity. They don't want what they getting. It just ain't nowhere to find it. So if you can't find it, you got to go be it. So I'm glad that I'm able to inspire your 16-year-old, man, and I hope that they go on inspiring people and keep the domino effect popping. They did. He said if JFK wasn't his favorite president, then George Washington. I gotta look up JFK, man. So you would say George Washington was the only president that we've had that did not want to be president, or is it anybody else who didn't want to be? Searching out. Yeah, I mean, I that's the thing I wish that was like more talked about is, we've had so many presidents, but after their term, they kind of just disappear. You don't really hear about them. Outside of Obama, he really didn't stuck around. Like I say, one of the craziest quotes I love repeating is by Grover Cleveland. He's the 22nd president of the U.S. He's a Democrat, and he said any sensible and logical woman would never want to vote. And I just think of how far we've went to that's how a Democrat president used to say. But also now that's the party that's pro-woman that's claiming the other party is anti. When Republicans, if I'm not mistaken, were down with women voting and actually helped that bill pass. I actually heard that the mayor here in Kansas City, Quinn Lucas, is planning on running for president one day, which it makes sense. He called himself the Aldi's brand Obama. I think anybody who's aligned themselves with culture has plans for trying to run the world. Um, but they don't see that culture is backfiring because they don't really grow up in that culture. I think the same with AOC. Their time is short lived. That's why CNN is falling off a cliff because you can only ride the wave of something for so long until someone can really expose you to see, oh, you lying, you're a fraud. But I wonder, is there anybody able to get into politics to be truthful? Like, would you lose your life? Is there really a secret society behind the closed doors to say you gotta say X, Y, and Z? I don't know. They say presidents are selected, not elected. So I think, ain't it wild? Biden lost every debate really bad. Remember what Camilla was saying? That little girl was me and busing, and then he becomes the guy who gets more votes than ever. So who knows what all backdoor tricks are played? There's a movie called All the Way. It's about Lyndon Baines Johnson. And he says the only election that he ever lost was somebody dropped off a bunch of fake ballots last minute. And that move, he was back in the 64. So this fake ballot stuff been going on for a long time, regardless of how much people want to say it's a conspiracy theory or whatever. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think eventually we're gonna have a robot president one day, dog. I see this thing just get all out of control. I see robots fighting for rights. I don't see it stopping no time soon. I see there being protests in the streets with a bunch of robots with signs saying "Robot Lives Matter." I really, I think the other part about it that's wild is robots won't have the human empathy. So if you think cops quote unquote treat people bad now, how you think a robot cop gonna treat somebody? Oh man, they gonna be wired to see you as a threat or safe, and it's gonna get wild. I heard something about the mob, and somebody can let me know it's true. I was talking about how every inner city has been run by Democrats for the past 50, 60 years. And this guy told me every city that is currently run by Democrats was once run by the mob. Does anybody know if that's true or not? I don't know much about the mob and didn't know they was a real thing, but apparently the government just kind of booted the mob to the side and took over where they left off. That's what I heard anyway from a guy who was I think he was some type of army vet. I'm not sure what he was a part of. What really put me on the idea that presidents get selected is, man, has anybody heard Obama's 2004 speech when John Kerry was running at the DNC? Obama's speech was so perfect. So perfect. %90. Okay, right. Man, I gotta learn more. There's so much in American history that we don't know, and with them trying to change history all the time, it really puts you in a crazy spot. I always say the wildest part about being black in America is everything that you've been taught is a lie, or somebody's trying to manipulate it or twist it. So you really got to be just independent and trust yourself, trust your intuition, and trust God. Um, what's popping from Sweden? I got to get over there to Sweden. Manchester United. My daughter plays soccer. Future soccer star, my daughter will be calling in now. Fatherhood is the greatest spiritual experience. I always got to throw that out there, man. Because I wouldn't be who I am without a dad. He became one out the mud, 20 years old, young and reckless. But man, it grew me up and matured me fast. Done me fast. And I done been through it. I had kids move out of town, couldn't see them for years, couldn't talk to them, but all that, but just stayed consistent and becoming a better man. And now life is better than ever. I think a lot of, like I say, man, it's really easy to still want to be an individual. But when my children were born, man, I divorced myself. Like I hung myself on the cross. And I committed to raising the best offspring I could because I don't believe it's about money. I don't think money has anything to do with what's going on with children. It's a lack of presence, a lack of somebody spending time with you. Yesterday, my boys got home. We went straight outside to the basketball court and played basketball for an hour. Then I walked back home and played hide and seek with my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old. Man, it's all about spending time. They don't know what kind of job you got. They don't know how big your checks are. They just know, are you there to tuck them in at night? Are you there to lay in the bed with them? I like at nighttime shining the flashlight, bro, and doing finger puppets on the ceiling with my kids, dog. I'm that type of daddy. Uh, it keeps you young, it keeps you youthful. But I know what it's like to not have the greatest relationship with the child's mom. Yeah, no, I agree, man. Your money can make things easier, but it also I look at it from now being an adult and how poor I don't even want to say I was poor because I think that's like speaking bad language, man. Like we, because I was mentally rich, I was physically rich, I was spiritually rich because I had my mom and my daddy. We didn't have money, but man, when my daddy was outside teaching me how to turn the gas on illegally, when we climbing the pole to hook the cable up, hey, do you know how happy you get when your lights are off and your daddy hooked the lights on illegally? And you turn the TV on and Space Jam is on, man, look here, bro. Or mama can cook the little skillet up so she can fry your bologna so you ain't got to have a cold sandwich. So I'm sure if I'd have grew up with money, I would have had different struggles. But I just know for me, man, I grew up without it, and I can look back and see the beauty and like, damn, this was really cool. That we was living like Man versus Wild, one of the greatest shows of all time. And I got cousins. Man, my cousins grew up with money, but their father passed away, and all of them had like full rides and went to a good school and went to a good college, but they just ain't they not as solid as I am. And I look at the world, and the world is real fragile. Most of the social justice warriors grew up with a little money, got to go to a good school, got to go to a good college, and then when they had to step out and face life on their own, man, they was shook. And my pops didn't come from money either. Um, but I couldn't imagine if I wonder what life would have been like if I could have grew up with some bread, had a pool in the backyard. Would I be the same person? Who knows? My children are growing pretty good, and I try my best to give them a experience of hardship. But I don't know, most parents face that as well. That you got your kids out of the situation you was in, but you don't want them to be soft. What's popping, Brody? Hope you're having a great day. Midday going live, just checking in with my people, man. Like we had 23,000 subs. So I don't even know who follow me, but I respect all y'all, love all y'all, man. I'm glad y'all dig the message, and we together gonna keep shining our light in this world. Yeah, yeah. I also personally think when you get to grow up a little rough, it helps you value money a little more and appreciate money and appreciate experience. Like where I am now, I I appreciate money, but I don't love money. I love my children, and I love the things that money can help my children experience. But at the end of the day, it's about the experience. So it's like a means to an end. It's if that makes sense. It's all just you want your children to have better opportunities, but it's not about the money. It's about the opportunity so they can remember it. If that domino effect makes sense. But at the same time, you want your children to have cheap experiences. Like you want to go outside and just play in the rain. Me and my son the other night, he's 4. It was probably like 8:45 at night, and it was dark. He was about to go to bed before I tucked him in. I said, "Do you want to go on a scooter ride?" And his little eyes just lit up. He said, "Daddy, but it's dark." And I said, "Did you know your wheels light up?" And he didn't. And we went out and rode up and down the block, and he was so hyped to see his wheels light up. And so that didn't cost any money, but it's an experience that my boy will remember forever. And it's things like that. It's like, damn, man, this is what fatherhood is about, dog. This is what the stories that should be shared on rap songs and on TV shows. Not about throwing cash in the air or having change, but tucking your son in that moment. Oh yeah, man, I appreciate you. Like I said, man, that's the power of God. This, as much as it seemed like that I reached the Atlantic Ocean, man, it's the spirit inside of me. It's great minds think alike, and everybody we on that same frequency. Frequency is real, vibrations are real, energy is real, and we all riding high. Rocket Power, if you remember that cartoon show, Rocket Power, when they used to be skateboarding, that's what we on right now. Yeah, man, that's what reading books taught me. Every book I read, I realize I don't really know nothing about this world, bro. I am not. That's why I'm so humble. No man is your friend. No man is your enemy. Every man is your teacher. I can learn something from everybody in this world, bro. Everybody. It, you think you know something in life, humble you real fast. Yes, 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 man. You ain't gotta search for it. And I tell my children, money is in abundance, because all wealth starts as an idea. Everything you see around you is an idea. So you never get stagnant to think that there's not something out here for you, that there's not enough for you, that you can't. My money ain't got nothing to do with your money. We not competitors, we creators. And the more you create, the more opportunities there are for other people to be prosperous. And you gotta live on that high frequency, that money frequency, man. You lack nothing. We all come from the creator, we all come from God, man. Everything is in abundance. Ain't no shortage of leaves, ain't no shortage of nothing. But now humans can manipulate it to where it's uneven or it gets stagnant. But I say, man, that's up to you to take your power back, and don't let nobody block your blessings. Don't let nobody limit your energy. Like for instance, fleas. Like a flea can jump, I think it's 36 inches. However, if you put a flea in a jar, it'll jump until it's hit its head on the lid, and then eventually it'll just limit so it can get where it wants to without hitting its head. And then if it has babies inside that jar, it'll jump to its maximum capacity. And what you've done is limited their reach of what they can do in life. And that's what's happening to humans everyday basis on IG and Facebook and TikTok, and making people compare themselves and have anxiety and depression. You limiting their greatness. You limiting how high they can jump by not giving them proper motivation. And that's all I'm trying to do is take that ceiling off, take the top off that jar, and just keep going. You'll reach where you want, because everybody got different goals. Everybody got different dreams. But if you never are taught that you can go as high as you want, then you like that flea in that jar. And when you're taught that it's not based around money, like I said, man, everything my dad did for me wasn't money based. It was, he gave me confidence, he gave me wisdom, he gave me self esteem. He taught me how to change tires. He walked me home from 2 o'clock in the morning when I was in the seventh grade. When we got home from a field trip, going to Six Flags in St. Louis. So and everybody who grew up with two parents, that can't be replaced. Like a lot of people will argue and say, "Well, my mama raised me and I was good," but it's like, yeah, but wouldn't you be different if you had your dad? You don't know. Like I'm not knocking anybody who was raised with a single mama, but a part of you is missing, and I couldn't imagine what that feel like because I know both sides of my parents. I got my mom and my dad. My mama's ashes is right over there, and I could call my daddy if I need to, but I couldn't imagine being without either one of them for a long period of my life, man. Like my daddy used to go to jail, bro. That week or two that he was gone was hard. I think the longest he was in jail one time was probably about a year, and bro, it was rough being the man in the house as a kid. I couldn't imagine that being my whole life. I feel sorry for young men who was put in that position to have to be a man as a kid. That ain't fair at all. I got to enjoy being a child, and my children get to enjoy being children as well. I wouldn't be scared to win a lot of money at this point. Like I'm looking forward to, man, look here, I'm looking forward to living nice. But that's because just of wisdom. I look to give it. I don't want to be the richest man in the world. I want to give the most money away. I mean, I want to bless the most people and help the most people. And I don't want to be one of them people who like I got to give you some bread and I got my phone out so I can record that shit on social media. I think that's lame as hell, man. I just really want to look out for people because we all trying to make it in this thing called life, and everybody can use a hand up or a leg up without the camera being in your face. I mean, if I could be just like an anonymous donor, and you know how Tupac said it feels good putting money in the mailbox. If I could just go through random neighborhoods, bro, and just drop money in there, but not like it to neighborhoods where people take advantage of the system either. Because growing up in an environment where the system gets took of, man, I've learned to have a different respect for the working class people. Like I did not understand the concept of the middle class and all that until I became a man and started taking care of my own children at a young age, and it gave me a different respect for people getting up. And my dad was an alcoholic too, bro. Like crazy. That's crazy. Like my dad was an alcoholic. I mean, drunk. I drunk a camo every day, 6-pack for beer. He used to get up in the middle of the night and walk through random places in the house and just piss. Because he was used to drink so bad, him and my mom had really, really, really bad domestic violence. But man, I've learned not to forgive him. I don't judge him at all. He's just a person, and he was dealing with some inner demons, and unfortunately, his inner demons did affect the life that me and my younger brother had when we were children. But as a man, it's up to me to still hold on to that resentment or to let it go. And I actually went to him and just learned about his life and what he went through as a child. No, my daddy was a heavy drinker, heavy, 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 heavy. I want to say, man, I've saw my dad in the back of a paddy wagon more times than I can remember, and I've saw my mama's face bloody more times than I can remember. Like they had crazy domestic violence. My dad never hit me and my brother either, though. He never hit us. Him and my mama fought like crazy, but they treated me like a god. That's what's like. That's why I say parenting matters so much. Cause we was, man, my mom had. If we wasn't on Section 8, we was living in a homeless shelter. My mama lived in every battered woman shelter here in Kansas City. Rosebrooks, the one on 9th Street, the one up on 74th and Prospect. But they was really good to me. It's weird. My mom used to put me on my bike and had me riding around looking for the mailman. You got my mama welfare check? But they were great to me. But they didn't get along with each other, bro. They when they was good though. I think like most relationships, then when they got that toxic love, when it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad. And when I can remember my mama sitting in the front room on the floor and my daddy doing her perm. I can remember her holding her head in the sink and him rinsing out the perm and making sure her scalp don't get burnt. Like they had that type of relationship. But I also can remember them fighting in the middle of the street. And as a kid, I had a lot of resentment towards my father for that domestic violence, bro. A lot. But as an adult, like I said, I've learned I had to forgive him and forgive my mama. Because I never should have been involved in that, like watching them fight and experiencing that. But I also got to learn how not to be in those situations. And my little brother as well. I mean, we're both married. We both have houses. We both raise our children. And neither one of us are dealing with the effects of our parenting. That's why I really think growing up in a 2-parent household matters. Because me and my brother both are doing pretty decent now. Now, the biggest difference between me and him is he has extreme liberal views. But he's not close to my parents. That's why I say if you talk to most liberal people, they're not close to their family. Like my brother hasn't spoken to my father in like 2-3 years. And he didn't talk to my mom when she passed away. He used to ignore her. He was just real off to himself. And most liberal people that I know are angry on the inside. I don't know a liberal person that's like does yoga. I ain't gonna say none, but most people have some type of anger and resentment towards something, and it's being projected outwardly in a different way. Y'all can let me know what y'all think if that's what y'all think about liberals, but because I don't think a lot of them are bad people. It's just when you got anger, man, it's easy to control as an angry person. It's so easy to control an angry person. Because when I was angry, I know how easy I could get manipulated by something. Yeah, I think adoption is Gucci too. I look at pro life from a different standpoint. My mom was pregnant when she was 14, and so she did not abort that baby. She went full term and she gave him up for adoption. So I got an older brother in this world somewhere. If you out there watching, what's up, bro? Mama passed away, but I'm still here thugging it out. But yeah, she gave him up for adoption. And so when she had me 6 years later, that's why I was such a mama's boy. That's why she held me so close. And my oldest, well, not my oldest, but my 10-year-old, his mama was going to abort him. And my 8-year-old, his mama was going to abort him. True story, my 10-year-old, his mama had said she was going to abort him and then sent me an email one day and said, I'm going to keep this baby whether you going to help or not. But we already had one kid together, so she was just being boosy. She knew I was going to help. And believe it or not, and somebody who watched this video, they're going to be able to relate to this. My baby mama had planned to name my son Jordan. And then she had texted me and said, I'm going to name him Johnny because I don't want another girl to be able to name their kid Johnny. True story. That was my first baby mama. And then my second baby mama, she had planned to abort our son, my 8-year-old. And she had came home from work one day crying. And she had said, I can't kill my baby. I can't do it. And now my 10-year-old and my 8-year-old live with me. I raised them full time. But it's, for as a dad, you always hear about abortion from the mom side of life, whether they were happy for it or it made their life better. But me as a father, man, I look at these two little boys that I drive to basketball practice twice a week and I do homework with, and I teach them, you need to go shower because you musty. And they could have been aborted. My 8-year-old, I'm actually on child support for. Real life. And I raise him every day. He's in my house. And it just comes with the territory as a man that you got to be responsible for what you do when you lay down with these women. Yeah, I don't know when that is or when that shifted, because you're taught that at least growing up in urban America, you're taught that conservatives are these mean, angry, racist. Who was them people chanting? Jews will not replace us. Them people. That's who you're taught that all of them are that way. And then when you get to be around the parents who got their kids in softball and have real conversation with them, and they just want to be left hell alone. I really, that's why I say about the country and the inner city, because both of them really have conservative values at heart. Like my grandma and grandpa, never heard them talk about politics, but when I started hearing of politics and the things that came with conservative values, the first person I taught them was, oh, that's grandpa. That's grandma. But if you never explain it in a way where it resonates with people, then they'll never understand it. Same way, bro. I was ashamed of my pops too. Like I said, in the world, I thought that you were supposed to have a lot of money. I thought you were supposed to drive a nice car and have a good job. And if you wasn't on that status level, then you was trash. So I judged my father for not providing that quality of life. But man, he was there. He was there. He helped me become a man and taught me a lot of things I needed to know. Even with him being an alcoholic, I got to see how not to be. Because if I don't get to witness somebody acting that way, I don't. I could have fell into that trap. I understand how easy it is to take one drink, turn into two, two turn into 10. I get it what it's like when you dealing with a woman and you not happy to be with her, but you have a child with her. And you really want to see your child grow up. You really want to be a part of your child's life. But damn, you're not happy with this woman. So how do you cope with it? You drink. I understand my daddy more than, I can't say more than he ever know, because we're friends now. But man, that's why it's very important to take your seat as a man. And when you have a child with the wrong woman, then you have to suffer for it. Or the child does, one of the way. Either the child has to suffer for the sins of the father, or the father has to stay and be in a very uncomfortable situation. And at least with my dad, I can't speak on your parents. Maybe they had a dope relationship and your dad just drunk for a different reason. But my dad. I think it's funny how he just became himself. Yeah, man, that's why I say I think most of us, when we talk about our lives, we got a lot more in common. That's why I say consciously we raising as humans, man. I don't care about how many girls you slept with. I don't care about how many cars you got or your money, man. Talk to me about some real stuff, bro. Let's hear about your parents and your situation and your mama and eating pizza rolls, watching Pokemon after school, dog. Let's be real humans and connect on a human level, not a superficial, materialistic level. Because most people have been through the same stuff. And if you don't, what they say, if you don't address your trauma, then you're gonna repeat it. And that's why this current generation right now, they look so happy in their pictures, but they really broken inside because it's still something that never got better in their childhood. And just a question for the person who commented: did you go through a period of judging your parents, or for you was it always easy to kind of disconnect yourself from it and not hold any type of resentment? Oh man, that's a very unfortunate. Rest in peace to your father. I lost my mom in 2015, so I death is something that it's hard to explain, like because everybody responds to it differently. Um, like when my son passed away when I was 18 years old, and my son passed away at birth, and I can remember being in the labor and delivery room, bro, and like seeing a baby come out for the first time. That just was wild. I ran in the bathroom and closed the door. Being truthful, I couldn't even take it. Um, and then when I went back out there and I see he was dead, and he looked like me, little bitty baby. He was a whole month early. She was due in November, but she ended up having him October 11th, just because he had trisomy 18, so he had stopped breathing inside of her body, so they had to put seaweed sticks inside of her to induce her labor. And man, like I say, we always hear about being a young parent or a young mom from the mom's perspective, but from as a young dad, bro, I was not ready at all to be a parent. I wish it was more guidance talked to us. But you a loser. I remember going to the OGs and complaining about women. They told me, "Shut up, punk. You lucky. Take advantage of all this." Um, but when I had to experience the death of my first child, that got me. And then my second child, when I was 22 years old, he died at 4.5 months from SIDS. And that was a different one to see your little baby's body dead. He was at the hospital, and to see his hair standing straight up because they try to shock him back to life so many times. So death is different because some people experience a death that's close to them and they just fall off, like they can't go back and they just don't want to live life no more. And for me, I don't know, it made me want to live more than ever, being around so much death. It just shows that this thing really ends one day. So you gotta live it to the fullest, but also understand you gotta leave something for your children behind. You can't be reckless. I always wondered, did my mom's son that was adopted, like, in his mind, does he want to search for my mama, or was he concerned? A lot of people have asked me how I feel, and I don't want to search him out just because I know my mom, I know my daddy. I just feel like it'd be awkward. Like, hey, bro, we got the same mama, but she dead already. Like, I don't even know what I would say to him. Hey, on God, hey, true story. I had Mama's boy tattooed on the side of my hand. So that's how I relate to you. And I got it covered up, and it says nothing forever because as humans, we have to evolve, we have to grow, or you stay stuck in the same place. But God, yeah, Mama's boy syndrome was a thing. I always say, man, I was my mama's little bullet. Whatever direction she shot me in, I went there, no questions asked, didn't think twice about my life. It was, if Mama said it, let's get it. Um, that man, that's like funny as hell to hear. Yeah, we grew up with a lot of anger towards our fathers. I say the reason I got 4 kids and 2 baby mamas is because I had so much anger towards my dad, and my dad had 4 kids by 2 different women. I judged him, so God was like, "Here you go, bro. I'm gonna put you in that same situation so you can see what your pops is dealing with." And I either had to mature and grow so I could overcome it, or I was gonna be fighting with my mom, with my baby mamas like my daddy was fighting my mama. So now when I go through some of my baby mamas, I don't even argue with them. I just call my daddy and be like, "Hey, bro, I love you." Hey, thanks for thugging it out. Thanks for going through it with mama, man. I get it now. Man, yeah. Man, I sound crazy to say, but I said my mama passing away was the best thing that ever happened to me. I really got to grow out of mama's boy syndrome when she died. I got to see the good in her, but it also first time gave me time to really acknowledge the bad and see her as a whole person. It's really easy to see your mama as a god. As a little black boy, you talk black woman is God and mama is God, and you can't question mama. So no matter how much evil and negative things mama do, you don't question it. But when you try to do that same shit as a little boy, you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You got to face the consequences. And when she passed, I got to grow into manhood. It wasn't nobody to make excuses for my bad decisions. Like, I had all these kids at a young age. You would think my mama would have said something, but I was cute, so it was cool. I mean, I was 18 years old with 3 different women pregnant at the same time. So why this lifestyle that they say you got to have 6 figures? I don't know what they talking about, but I was 13, 14, 15 with doing my thing, thugging it out. But I wish my mama wouldn't have let me, be so free. But she always said she could keep me out of the streets, or she could keep me away from the girls. And she said she kept me out of the streets, but she couldn't keep me away from no girls. Um, I think she could have though, cause chicks was taking my mama to get her hair done, her nails done, her feet done. Chicks was paying my mama's light bill when I was in high school, so she was definitely benefiting from her son, and she was pimping me out on the low. But man, I see a lot of us. We got more in common, especially growing up. I don't think race really got nothing to do with it at all. Man, no man, I miss my mama though. It's like I said, death is different because when you have someone that you used to talk to every day and they just not there no more. Not like not there, like you go through a breakup, but like legitimately don't exist. It's like surreal because I don't feel like she's gone. I just feel like I can't see her for some whatever reason. Like in my brain, I legit feel I'm gonna see my mama again one day, and it's like, bro, where the hell you been at? What you been doing? What's up? Let's catch up. Like it doesn't feel like that her life is ended. It just to me, it feels like we live in different locations at this point. Um, and I don't even think this like a delusion. I'm tricking myself because I know she's dead, but I don't know what comes with that, right? Like, cause I'm not dead yet, so I can't say what she's doing or where she at. I can't officially say her life is over. I can't officially say it just ended. I just know her ashes sit over here, and that person I used to communicate with, that spirit, I can't tell you where that thing bounced out to. But that's why I believe in spirit, and that's why I believe in God, is because I looked at my children's dead bodies, and then I seen my mama's ashes, and I'm like, man, the person that was in there ain't there no more. So one day I'm gonna leave this thing too. Where am I going, cuz? Let me make sure I'm doing good while I'm here, so wherever I pull up to, ain't nobody got no smoke for me at the front door. But that's just my perspective. I know some people will never get up on that. But for me, we leave this body, whether we want to believe that or not, whether you have a different man. Look here, when I was 16, this dude named Nate got shot on my porch, and we watched him bleed, and you see his eyes slowly just be there, and then slowly, then my eyes just freeze. I can't say what happens in that process, but something is going somewhere. And I don't think that you individually forget what you was doing, the energy that you was putting out, the bad. It all sticks with you. And so what are you doing? What are you leaving behind? Because your kids got to suffer for that. Like the worst part about all these rappers is no matter how great of a father they was to their kid, like when they grow up, if they go back and listen to all your art, they can't come to you and ask you, why was you talking about killing so many black people? Why was you talking about disrespecting so many black women? I'm really conscious on what I leave behind for my children because my mama is already gone and there's anything, I can't speak to her. I can't hear her perspective. I can't get her wisdom. So I'm hyper aware that everything I do, if something was to happen to me today, tomorrow, next week, next month, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years, whatever the case may be, my children, my great grandchildren, my great great grandchildren, they getting my authentic voice and perspective and not somebody else who's manipulated or not just a super negative version or a character of me because I want it to be cool for the world. Yeah, I used to think that way. I used to think that life just one day just end. When you're a kid and you grow up around violence, it kind of throws you off. Like from the age of 3 to 13, I went to a funeral every weekend, so I just was used to seeing bodies in caskets, and I never, they teach you heaven is a place up in the sky with gates, and that hell is a place underground with fire, and you grow up believing those concepts, and as you grow older and you mature, you step away from that realm and just really understanding that we transcend, we evolve. And if it was to go black, like I think if you teach humans that life has no value, which is I see happening right now, then you don't understand that you become immortal. Like they say, three things every man should do is write a book, plant a tree, and have a son, because they're all things that'll outlive you. And if you don't value your life, then you don't do anything to help the next generation. Like I like saying, man, if the Wright brothers were social justice warriors, we don't have planes right now. We just got two more white boys in the signs in the streets with signs. And America is meant for innovation. It's meant for creators, and every human can create something to benefit the rest of society. And where we are right now, because this generation doesn't look to the future, they just think when life is over, it's over, and at the end, it's black. They're not doing anything to extend the process. But like I said, the generation under that though, that younger generation, they paying attention. Yeah, go on and write you a book, dog. Like that sounds like, well, I know you got a son. That sounds like you already planted a tree. I'm looking forward to having my farm. Like I want some cows, some chickens, some horses. I want to be out in the middle of nowhere. I want to get up and go fishing every morning. Real self sufficient. I didn't want my own water supply. All of that good stuff. I'm in the process of writing my book now. Writing my book, writing poetry. I'm getting better at putting my thoughts on paper. Because as I grew up as a basketball player, so anytime I was stressed or upset or had something going on, I went to shoot jumpers. So now I'm training myself and conditioning to write more and not just shoot jumpers all the time. Even though it ain't about stress, it's just my free time. If I got some free time, I'm trying to shoot some jumpers. And so writing, I had to adjust my life. Like I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning now just so I can fit everything that I want to do into my day. But I look forward to having a New York Times bestseller one day. And Mike, you're going to have one too. We'll be able to sit on a podcast and talk about this experience and how we manifested these best-selling books into existence. Because I believe everybody can manifest what they want into existence. You just got to have the mind and the will to keep going when life tries to get you down. I don't know where I want to be. I don't know. I want to go somewhere where like rare, like South Dakota, like Wyoming. I don't. I like snow a little bit. I ain't got no beef with the cold. As long as I can play basketball, bro, I don't really care. I could be out of the country. I just want to be off the grid a little bit. Most people work hard to be seen. I don't want to be seen. I want to be chilling. Hey, shout out to my guy saying he gonna support the books, man. We appreciate you. That's why I say everybody got a gift, because you never know what somebody else has been through. They're like, when you hear, you're like, oh man, I relate to that. And I grew up. I say how I grew up because I don't want to push nothing on nobody else, but I thought real small. I had a negative view of the world. I thought everything was gangster and trap. Before I started this reaction channel, bro, I didn't know anything about rock. I didn't know nobody in Sweden or the UK. So I'm like, oh damn, we really can just reach out and touch people. All right, man, I'm about to act a fool. I'm about to be everywhere. I'm about to be so big. Because humans love real. They love authentic. And I just want to show everybody that we got a lot in common. A lot in common. Like I said, I'm not looking for people who were, even though I was the popular kid in school, I related to everybody. And now my brain is like, I want to go back at all the people who get looked at, overlooked, and don't have family and don't have friends. Man, that's who I'm going for. They're my folks. That's who I'm trying to vibe with. The ones who've been misled and manipulated by the media. That's who I'm talking to. Yeah, I wouldn't mind coming to Sweden as well. I'm gonna travel around. Oh, for sure. I spent too long in the hood not to get around the world. So I'm everywhere. You ain't ever there. Ain't that Jay-Z bar? I went from growing up on Mac Dre and Fat Tone to listening to music all around the world. Like when I say I was hood and urban and had a very small mindset about life, if you would have told me that I was gonna make it past 25, I really believed the narrative of the world. And so now if I can get a bunch of people to stop believing the narrative of the world and to listen to themselves, I think we can accomplish something. And we just gonna see where we keep going. I couldn't imagine living in Sweden, man. They used to always say the world is bigger than your hood. And when I was a kid, I didn't understand that quote. I was like, we know the world is bigger than our hood. What you trying to say, though? And it was real like, expand your mind, bro. Stop thinking so small. Stop thinking of what you can't be. That's why it's so disheartening that the lowest of the culture is pushed so mainstream. Because, man, nobody really want to get shot at every day. What gets promoted is not how people truly want to live. Everybody want to be happy and prosperous, safe. I don't know a human alive who don't value safety. I was watching a podcast, I think it was yesterday, with Jay Shetty and Kendall Jenner. And she was saying how all summer she just woke up and went to the horse range and rode horses and went home and wrote in her journal and sat in front of the pool. That's the type of life I want to live. I may not be riding a horse every day, but I'll go shoot a jumper and all that and then just chill. But everybody want to be peaceful. Taxes, man, look here. They trying to hit everybody over the head with taxes. Yeah, I think that's experiences matter a lot more than just material goods. I definitely would agree with that. You want to hear? My mother passed away not knowing how to drive. I never in my life have been in a car with my mother and father. I've been on the metro with both of them, but we never had a car our whole childhood. The first car in my family was my 1985 Cutlass Sierra that I got when I was 16 years old. It was rusted on the sides. Driver door only opened from the outside. Passenger door only opened from the inside. Got me back and forth to work though. Had a gas leak, so I used to smell like gasoline a little bit. But hey, we done made it, baby. That's when I worked at Stephen Barry's. I always forget about this, but I actually worked at War Parkway Mall when Target got shot up. I can't remember what year it was, but I was working at Stephen Barry's. It was on a Sunday, and you can Google all this, but it was a shooting inside of Target, and I had like pulled up to work and walked inside, and everybody was going crazy. And just been through a lot of. I won't say that I felt anything could have happened to me at that point because Stephen Barry's was on a completely other side of the mall as Target, but still to be out there environment. There's something now to look at. You see these mass shootings, like, man, I was really that close to something like that happening as well. I want to take my kids snowboarding this year. My daughter actually has a soccer trip this weekend. We traveling to Iowa. She got 4 soccer games this weekend. And then my boys, they got a basketball tournament somewhere. I think the week after that we got to go somewhere with them. So that sports dad life. I'm sure a lot of my men know what to talk about. But it's fun watching your kids play sports. It's different. I say if I never could shoot a basketball again, watching my children play is definitely worth it. Watching them get good, watching my son hit little step backs and flex his little muscles. It's like, bro, this is wild, man. A fatherhood is another reason why I didn't got real spiritual. Because watching your kids grow up is nuts. I mean, my 8-year-old, when I say he got some game, he moved away when he was 2 months old, and how close we are, and what he done went through to be in my life, and what I done went through to be in his life, and that ain't nobody but pure spirit. And my 10-year-old, man, he been playing basketball less than a year, and to watch his game grow, and man, dog, it's beautiful to watch your kids find something they love and then work at it. It ain't really no words that can explain watching your children grow up. I think parenting is something that got to be highlighted a lot more because it's something we all can relate to because it's something we all don't know what we're doing. I just got a head start on most people because I became a dad so young. But it's a learning experience every day. Every day I'm trying to get 1% better at raising these boys and these girls and keeping them safe in this weird world. That's why I read so many books. That's why I eat so healthy. That's why I take care of myself because I want high quality children. And the only way to produce that is to make sure as a parent that you are being an example of what you want them to become. You watch Tom Brady, and Brady will tell you his role model is his dad. We all have seen Space Jam when Michael Jordan was outside, and his daddy said, "Go ahead, son, shoot till you miss." I'm just trying to be that dad for my children. We know how Venus and Serena became as great as they are. We know how close Tiger Woods was with his father, how dope his son is at golf, and it just seemed like it's pretty simple that if the father sets a good, strong example, that the children walk right behind it. I'm not saying it's 100% of the time, but like my guy said, 80% of the time, man. If you look at somebody who steps into greatness, they had a parent who was right there. Oh yeah, my children are the reason my dad is about to get back in shape. It's nuts how my dad. I don't want to say he was a terrible father, but how he was drunk all the time when I was a kid, and now he trying to work out. He want to be playing basketball with my boys. He call them every day. He actually invite my sons over every Sunday to come watch the football game with him. And I'm like, Daddy, we lived in the same house, bro, and you didn't watch football with me. You was drunk. That's why, I say, man, just living in stress is different because now my father is in a peaceful situation in his life. And I think it's dope that he's a better grandfather than when he was a father. Because I wouldn't be who I was if he raised me that way. So it's just life happens the way it's supposed to. But I'm gonna be I'm not looking forward to being a grandpa. I'm looking forward to raising these children and to live my own life. But man, being a good parent is definitely matter, especially in today's society. Especially in today's society, man. Children need parents to love them and protect them. Because most parents are fighting with each other, not realizing the world is trying to manipulate their kid. So y'all beefing with each other, and the whole time the devil was like, "Come on over here, I got something for you." And it's really easy to influence a kid's mind, to corrupt their brain, because you don't know a lot of things aren't real when you're a child. I thought Pokemon was real for a minute. I thought wrestling was real. I can remember, I think it was Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. I don't know how young I was, but I was young. Undertaker had pinned Shawn Michaels, threw him in the tombstone, was blood all over his face. He threw him in the casket, closed the casket. They put him back in the hearse, drove off. I'm a kid, so I'm terrified because I get up crying. Go in the other room, knock on the door, open the door. My mom and daddy in there. My mama concerned about why I'm crying. I tell my daddy it's because Shawn Michaels just died. My daddy said, "Boy, go lay your ass down and go back to sleep." And I went back in my room. Wrestling was going off. I had to turn and watch cartoons because I couldn't go to sleep after watching that. I was a little experienced, just traumatized. And I woke up the next day, and then that's when it kind of hit me that wrestling was fake. And I agree. Yeah, the children don't need phones. Children don't need tablets. They need parents. I'm doing arts and craft with my daughter. She's 2. I just got some Cheerios, some poster board, and put some glue on there, letting her glue on her name. My son, we go on scooter rides. I'm not anti tablets and all that and stuff, but I just know it's all too everything. Where attention goes, energy flows, and I want my children to be influenced by me. Not that I don't want them to have any external influence, but I don't. I think all dads can agree. I want to be my children's best friend. I don't want my kids to have no friends. My daughter 13, I'm super in her business. What you watching on TV? What's going on? Who is that? What they talking about? I'm that daddy. I'm Pops from the Wayans brothers, but I'm also the dad from my wife and kids. Any black dad that was ever on a TV show, Uncle Phil, I'm all of them wrapped up in one, bro. I'm Sean from the Wayans brothers. I'm all of that. I want to be, because you fighting with culture, you fighting with the world to raise your children. So my children are forever gonna think their daddy is the coolest individual until they cooler than me. But I don't want them to have any external people that they praise outside of God. I think as parents, we gotta fight harder to be a bigger influence in our children's life. Just my opinion. I can't tell nobody else to feel. But when I was a kid, I know because my daddy was such an alcoholic, I looked up to Lil Wayne a lot. I looked up to Trey Songz. Mr. Marcus was very influential in my younger years. Kobe Bryant. But if I could have found all that in my father, I think that'd have been way better. Truthfully, that'd have been way better. My not regrets, but things if I could have done differently, I would have had my father being more involved in my life, and then myself, I wouldn't have had children with multiple different women. It sucks never being able to have just one family. And yeah, I can raise all my kids and see them, but the fact that somebody got to have a mama here, somebody got to have a mama there, that's not fair to the children. And I got to be honest that I created a situation that's not fair to my children. So that's why I work so hard to be the best father I can and to set the best example, because I don't want them walking into my mistakes. My dad didn't do a good job of explaining his mistakes to me, and that's something I try to do with my children is be honest about where I messed up. Now, they won't listen 100%, and they're going to have to go, make their own bed and lay in it, but I just want to, teach them early what I learned late. I agree. I think it's extremely lazy parenting you just on your phone and you just throw a tablet or a phone in your kid's face, and that's how you get them out your. Yeah, I agree. But working at a private school for the last 4 or 5 years, man, that's what we give kindergartners tablets now. I mean, starting in kindergarten, we give every kid an iPad already. Once they get to 4th grade, we give them a MacBook. So, I mean, kids are being raised on the internet. And the downside of that is penmanship is down because you don't really hold a pencil or a pen in your hand anymore. You're not writing. The cursive has been took out of schools for a while now. So we're just slowly, it seems that we're advancing, but I don't know what's the effect of having a whole generation who can't write their name in cursive. I don't think many people have ever stopped to think about what happens when we have a whole generation of people who can't write in cursive, can't read cursive, can barely, write plain. But that's where we're going. However, they don't know about everything that's going on in culture. They're going to know about every fantasy football league and anything that doesn't have a real value. That's why, as much as I love sports, I understand it's a distraction. It's a distraction from the real world. But most men are unhappy where they are in life, so they want the distraction. They want to sit down and watch football and drink a beer and escape from their work week. That's why we got to inspire more people to get out that hamster wheel of living a life uninspired and do something that they love. Because when you live a life of inspired, you may not ever reach your destination, but you inspire somebody else to start a little early. And then they inspire to start somebody early, and then it becomes a domino effect. But if all you see around you is people that are miserable and sad, then you don't want that. That's why I think we have a generation of people who don't want to grow into adulthood because they've been made to think being an adult sucks. And I embrace responsibility. I always say discipline is freedom. And anybody if you discipline yourself, man, being 30 plus is amazing as hell. Especially if you're healthy and take care of yourself, man, it's dope. But if you lack discipline, oh man, you're going to have a hard time getting older in life. Yeah, you're right. Man, hey, it's getting ugly out here, man. The things that children aren't being taught in school. And everyone used to just study so much back in the day. Like that's why I like a lot of literature. Ralph Waldo Emerson, Ralph Waldo Trine, James Allen. When they books, they were just so deep. Thoughts or Things by Prentice Mulford. Because it wasn't phones around, it wasn't TV around, and they really were just deep in thought and studying in an exam. Uh, what's the Heavenly Life is another book by James Allen. That's really good. Oh yeah, they know that they know he them they there. It's I don't know. You wonder how we got here, but then you understand how we got here, if that makes sense. Like you can question it, but then you can sit and look like this is because of that, and this is we should have paid attention. And I know for myself, when Obama was running for '08, I still didn't. I was a kid. I didn't know anything about history, about culture. They didn't even talk about politics in school. The first thing I ever remember hearing politically was when Kanye said George Bush don't care about black people. And even then, I really didn't. It didn't stick with me in my heart. It was something I heard. Kanye said Bush don't care about black people. Damn, George Bush, that's messed up. uh, but before that, I never had a group think of black ideology. My mama never identified with the pro-black community. My grandma, my daddy, my grandpa, I never heard anybody say we are a part of this black group and it is your job to move and operate as blackness and do this as blackness. It was you represent your family, you represent God. It never was about my skin color had anything to do with my actions or how I should behave or conduct myself. And now a lot of people in 2020, bro, when everybody got the internet and got unlimited freedom to try whatever they want, they still say they are oppressed, and it's because of their skin color. As Malcolm X said, the masses have been bamboozled. But yeah, they've hit the young kids with But that's why I always question who won World War II. Because you would say, oh, well, that's easy. But look, every generation in America since the 70s when they graduate college, they anti-America, they anti-capitalism. Angela Davis, and she gave a speech in 72. And if you fast forward now, when you graduate college, you're still anti-capitalism. So how did that happen? How do you How do you grow up in America and you finish school hating America? Oh yeah, I agree. My every job I've had, my best friend at the job has always been white. Cause everybody's been nerdy jobs. I took apart phones, jailbroke phones and shit, hacked Wi-Fi networks. I mean, ain't a lot of black people want to do stuff like that. So, but I was a little hood dude, so it was like the best of both worlds. But I've never. Everybody thought South Park was funny as a kid. Nobody was like, we can't watch that because you. Everybody loved Eric Cartman, um, Futurama, Fairly Odd Parents. It's just a lot of things that I never really cared about skin color that much. My cousin Evan, they grew up in Shawnee, so they lived in an all white environment. So I used to go out there 2 weekends a month. We used to TP houses and shit because all the kids had a little money out there. It was fun. You can't TP houses where I grew up, but somebody would have came outside and shot you. So, so it was cool being able to go out there. But I do agree. Anybody, I raise my children that way. Anybody who brings up color, don't listen to them because they trying to manipulate you. Because your color, or you being a woman, or you being a man, it has nothing to do with how well you can perform and what you can do in this thing called life. Yeah, man. I'm confused on how we grew up in a generation that watched, the Chappelle show and South Park, Keenan and Kel, all that. He looking like a man, and now we offensive. It, my cousin Skeeter, um, Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo, The Ladies' Man. That was a fantastic movie. I just don't understand but I mean I understand it from a standpoint of implementing communism, but as far as the individuals not stopping to think like, hold on, I'm being told Donald Trump is racist, but I used to watch him on WWF Raw fighting Vince McMahon. Like that's what I mean. Is how fast you can forget something that you used to partake in. The human, I don't want to say the memory because we remember, but it's just our attention span. It's easily distracted. What was it? September 10th of 2011. There was a press conference saying that, hey, we can't find $2.3 trillion. And then the next day, that exact room that is auditing that money gets hit, No one talks about, hey, remember that missing $2 trillion back in 2011? It's out of sight, out of mind. And right now we talk about the national deficit and something else will happen in 20 years and it'll be out of sight, out of mind. It's just, you can keep sweep it under the rug and ain't nobody pay attention. And who knows, this video might get edited and chopped, and you just never know what's going with censorship in this world. But all you want to do is inspire people and enlighten them to get back to their true self, to get back to their intuition. Don't be so emotional. Don't be misled. Because the world they want you broken. Every commercial. Do you have anxiety? Do you have depression? Did you sleep good last night? Did your left toe hurt? Is your wife on her phone too much? It's just always something to get you worried about yourself and not becoming the best version of yourself. Yeah, well, I mean, Frederick Nietzsche has a book called The Gay Science. If you watch the Flintstones, remember that at the end of the Flintstones, they're saying have a gay old time because gay used to mean happy. But if I can manipulate the language, then I can manipulate the people. So it's a domino effect. And even like the rainbow being hijacked as a kid, is there anything cooler than seeing a rainbow on the ground or looking up and seeing a rainbow in the sky? Everything that once was has been manipulated. But that's talked about in the Bible. If you are a Bible person, I don't even think I can't even say I'm a Bible thumper because I know probably maybe 4 or 5 Bible verses. But I've read when I read The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, when I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, when I read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, I just started looking at all these books and I was like, damn, all these principles that we learn are in the Bible. I do like to listen to the book of Proverbs. If you haven't checked that out, man, they got an audio book of it on YouTube. Bro, and what they say about women and just like it's so crazy because everybody, I believe, can apply it to their life. There's so much wisdom that has been left behind. As a kid, I used to always hear, put it in a book and a black man will never find it. But I don't think that's black people. That's all people. I don't know 5 people off the top of my hand that read books on a consistent basis. And reading books has definitely made me start looking around at the world like, bro, y'all don't know this? Y'all Y'all don't see what's happening, how we been manipulated and lied to. But what I didn't know, I didn't know either. That's why I don't judge people. I don't criticize them for the way they feel. No matter how much mud gets through my way, I ain't responding at all because I know that everyone evolves differently. And there was a point in time when I was ignorant. I mean, I got a T-shirt over here that was like a "Know Your Rights" camp from Colin Kaepernick. So I had to get enlightened on my own and realize that I was all being manipulated. Now all you can do is try to help people one at a time. Hey, shout out to Mike Price dropping it out. See, as a kid, you don't know that. You don't know that oil got nothing to do with the rainbow. You just know, like, hey, that's a bunch of colors that look really dope. And I was told if I follow that, it's a pot of gold at the end of it. And so I'm just trying to see where that thing go. But you're right. You normally be driving and it just run out. Man, yeah, I've talked to Jericho and Tatum once. I don't know much about Solid Cracker, but like I say, man, great minds think alike. And I seen a stat and it said 90% of Generation Z get their content from individuals, not from corporations. So that's why I inspire so many people to make content because there's somebody out there that wants to hear your voice. I don't think the masses of people are asleep to, or I won't even say asleep, but they still want to hear the mainstream narrative. I just think they shadow so many people that it's hard to find voices. So it's dope that we can keep finding individuals. I'm glad that you support, man. And I look to take this message as far. I like to be doing Jordan Peterson numbers and packing out arenas and just really sharing the message and really uplifting and inspiring people. Big goals, big dreams. Big goals, big dreams, man. I think everybody should dream big. Shoot for the moon. And if you don't make it, you land for the stars. Oh yeah, they don't. I say, man, the cis white male is under attack because no matter how accurate you are as a white man, they gonna put you in that box, especially if you straight. And then if you gay, I don't really know what happens. Like I don't know what type of message how they people feel about Dave Rubin because I think Dave Rubin is a gay dude if I'm not mistaken. Um, and I think Rob Smith is a black dude that's gay. So but yeah, it's a few people fighting through this message, but I definitely think that we need more black men because I think a lot of urban minded black men want to overcome that ghetto culture. I know I did in my whole childhood, man. I craved something more than negativity, more than violence, more than rap music, more than sleeping with a bunch of girls. Because it's so empty, it's so soulless. I know what it's like to have a bunch of women, a bunch of cars, a bunch of jewelry, every pair of Jordans to drop every Saturday. Man, it doesn't fulfill you. You're so broken. You're so lonely. I'm so complete now. You'll never catch me wearing jewelry again. You couldn't pay me to put earrings in my ear. There's just a lot of things that change when you evolve and being comfortable with yourself and love yourself fully as you are. Um, and I think a lot of people are ready for that next level of life, that next level of consciousness. And that's why the world is trying so hard to lower your vibration and shadow your reach. Because no one wants to be stuck in a trap. When it's called a trap, because you don't know that better is out there for you. You don't know you can read Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz and start looking at life differently. You don't know that there's a book called The Science of Getting Rich or The Science of Being Great. Like there's so much information out there that we can consume as humans. But I'm gonna just flood your IG reels with twerking chicks. Yeah, see, I don't, and that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, conservatism should trump out, and I think conservative values. I don't think they bad. I gotta say, man, I'm socialist with my family. I'm conservative with the world. Like I share with my kids, of course. I take care of my wife and my daddy and my mama, but I can't just look out for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to say they need help. I've seen too many people abuse the welfare system. My mama used to abuse the system. I've seen too many people abuse the disability system and say something is wrong with them so they can get a check every month. Man, I've seen too many people abuse the food stamp system. If you go in Sunfresh right now on 31st and Prospect, it's about 5 people standing in front of that store that's gonna stop you and say, "Hey, you want to buy some food stamps? I got some stamps for sale." So, while I understand we do need a social safety net and we do need this system to look out people at the bottom, I grew up in an environment where my whole life I watched everybody around me manipulate the system. And then you can respond and say, well, that's because the system manipulated them. Or, well, you can have that argument all day and all night. But you got to do for self. And once you carry your own water, you learn the value of every drop. And I just think every individual has to be put in a point where it's up to you to take care of yourself. God bless the child that can carry his own. And that's why the whole concept of God is removed altogether, because you don't want people to know what they can do with faith in themselves, what belief in themselves. Because once you believe in you, man, it's scary, dog. It's scary what you can do when you real life believe in your man. Look here. Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for tuning in. Like I always say, man, the highest human act is to inspire, and I just want people to know that they're great, to know that there's greatness. Because I'm a regular person. I know what it's like to get down on yourself and to be broken and be worried. And once you get to a life of thinking positive so long, you get to look around like, damn, I'm really living a positive, peaceful life. And you want to share that joy with everybody who you can, man. You want everybody to know what can come with changing your mentality, with changing your vibration, with changing the frequency that you're riding on. I think your diet plays a huge role in it too. Like I was saying this morning, I definitely agree that me eating better played a role in me thinking better, me having a clearer mind, the way I start feeling on a daily basis. I'm always so uplifted. I like fasting. I feel like personally I play basketball better in a fasted state. I enjoy lifting weights in a fasted state. Meditating fasted, oh man, that really gets you in tune with yourself. Just my biggest mystery in life is I want to know myself. When you're born into this world and we taught to look outward, your favorite football team, your favorite basketball team, your favorite rapper, your best friend in school, and I'm at a point in life where I want to know myself. I don't want to, not that I'm better than anybody. I'm just really on a journey to discover who I am in this world. What is my purpose? What is my place here? What do I like? What do I dislike? Because you don't know what came from you and what came from your parents, what came from school. So I look at myself as I'm an onion. I'm just peeling back layers to get into the root of who I am. And I challenge everybody to get into the root of who they are, right? Because once you know yourself and you happy with yourself, I believe you'll really be happy and at peace with the world. Like I'm happy with my life. I'm blessed with everything I've ever been through. It was meant for me. I know everything that's coming my way is great, but that's because there's no inner turmoil. It's all water can either be bubbling when it's boiling or it can just be chilling. And right now, my water is just flowing, just grooving. And I hope the same for everybody in this world, man. This is cool, man. I ain't had free time like this. Just hop on and vibe with people in a while. Like it's 23,000. I'm grateful. When I started a YouTube channel, I was sitting in my office at work and was like, man, let me try something different. Didn't have no goals. Really, never thought I was gonna start touching people. So to really be contacting humans and making a difference, it's beautiful. It shows just follow your dream, follow your passion. You ain't got to know what's happening. Just one foot in front of the other. You got the vision inside of you, and step out, and if somebody want to hear it. Like I said, man, I want to do numbers, dog. I want to start a wave of just inspiration of people just feeling really good about themselves. And you got to inspire kids. I know how much of an influence Lil Wayne had on me. I know how much of an influence Kobe Bryant had on me, and what if there was a, one of them that was positive? What if Lil Wayne was telling me to follow my dreams and my goals, to become the best version of myself? Wasn't talking about double cups of lean and sleeping with three girls at a time. And I understand. I would have followed that path too, especially covered in tattoos, looking cool. Oh man, if he would have said, "Hey, study quantum physics, little bro. Look here, young Albert Einstein in the making." So I'm using the culture and the image that children love, and I'm just trying to turn it in a positive light. Become the best version of yourself. Be new energy into this world. Don't look into this world and say, who can I copy? Look at this world and say, what can I add to it? What value can I bring? That when I'm not here, something is better because of me. The Lakers still got championships because of Kobe. The marathon clothing is still around because of Nipsey. Regardless of how those individuals live their life, they left something behind. all of us got the power to leave something behind, man. And I didn't even get that concept until a few years. Now I'm like, damn, when I was back then running around sleeping with all them girls or stressed out about this, I could have been creating art. And now, bro, and I say I'm focused. I'm focused because you become what you think about. Where attention goes, energy flows. So put your energy into your dreams and watch that flower grow. You know, if you don't give a flower water, it can't grow. It got to die. It got to. So give your dreams and your visions and your hopes. Give water, man. Man, I try. I spent life being so negative. You got it. The pendulum swings, the yin, the yang. I went from the negative kid to now you can't stop me from being positive, man. I wake up every morning like this. But I know what it's like to wake up in a dark mindset, to be tired of life, to be angry with humans, to be done. I know what it's like to be there. But I say, man, you can turn. Oh man, the wildest part is when I was a kid, me and my mama was on a metro stop one time. And this lady had told my mama when I was talking, she's like, that little boy sound like he gonna be a pastor one day. And I didn't. And now it's full circle. I didn't even got a few comments on some videos that I should be a pastor. Like I said, I don't see myself as an influencer or a pastor. I'm just an encourager. I just want everybody to find that because pastors have been so manipulated that I'm trying to be something new. So I don't want no label that somebody could put on me and try to he's this. So nah, man, I'm new energy into this world. I don't know what title is gonna stick, but I just want to inspire, to enlighten. I want to be that person that anybody can walk into a bar and sit down to and start talking with, and then just go cool. Like I one of my favorite movies ever is A Ladies Man, and Leon Phelps. He was like, "Hey, can I buy you a fish sandwich?" And I just want to be that cool person that could just sit down and just vibe with you, man. Because everybody needs somebody to talk to about something. As men, you keep a lot of stuff tucked on the inside that you don't talk about to the world. But also women, there's a lot of lonely women in this world more than ever. I've never had the issue with women that most men have, but I know a lot of women are broken. We got a broken society, and I just want to be that void. I don't want to judge nobody. I just want to be that ear that you need, man, because everybody needs an ear in some kind of way, shape, or form. Yeah. Yeah, man, I like conversation. I say that's they want to cancel people, but bro, it's gonna take a lot to cancel me because I ain't ever gonna. I'm so peaceful that I ain't got to get hostile. I didn't watch people die before, so I can't get mad over a conversation. And if you get triggered over a conversation, once again, that's internal. But I'm down to just let's talk, let's vibe it out, bro. Let's hug it out at the end. That's why I was so dope with that Jubilee show because them little kids, man, energy is real. So I always say you got a lot of internet gangsters because you ain't about to talk reckless to somebody in person unless you gonna deal with the consequences of what come with them. And not a lot of people we got a fragile society, man. They keyboard warriors, internet gangsters. They ain't really trying to do nothing around here. So accept that and laugh it off and keep going. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Shout out to Tatum for giving me the alley oop, bro. Like it all just fell into place. I did the Jubilee show. He saw the clip, and his people. It just worked out. Hopefully, me and Tatum do something again in the future. I think all of us we're gonna have something common. Jericho as well. ABL, man. Everybody is needed in this world in some way. I'm just a little more urban than them, so that's how we all can link, man. Because we all have a different background. We all have a different story and a different perspective to share, and that's how you overcome the echo chamber. Is when everybody has a different story yet comes to the same conclusion. It's a dope perspective. Yeah, man. That's why I'm just spreading peace. I ain't worried about no negative energy. Now I know it exists. Like I'm not naive, but I don't see myself having to be concerned with that. A lot of people spend their time worrying about what can go wrong, and I'm a big person who thinks you should spend your time worrying about what could go right. Like thoughts are powerful. Neville Goddard has a book called "Feeling Is the Secret," and most humans spend their time, thinking about what they don't want to happen, and where attention goes, energy flows. So let me spend my time thinking about on the greatness that's coming my way, the opportunities that's coming my way. I don't know. You can't have two thoughts at the same time anyway. I can't think something happy and think something sad. So once I learn that I have a choice individually every day over my emotions, why not move it to the highest vibration? Earl Nightingale was really big on that, man. He inspired my life a lot. Earl Nightingale, Bob Proctor, Napoleon Hill, Dr. Joe Dispenza, all people that you would never hear of growing up in the hood are now people. I'm like, damn, bro, these dudes are smart. I really, and Ralph Waldo Emerson. When I found out Martin Luther King was studying Emerson, it just made me look at everything differently because they, instead of teaching me about King, lead me to Emerson, let me keep going. But they stop you at King for a reason. And I want to now. I'm studying Emerson to see who Emerson was studying and who was they studying. Like I want to have knowledge, man. But and I know everybody else has that, but life is hard, and it's hard to want to find all that through this mud, especially when you're just trying to take care of your kids and survive. I've luckily been in a position to make it happen, and now that I didn't found the secret to success, I want to scream it to the mountaintop. I want everybody to know, man, what you want out here wants you as well. But you got to look inside yourself to get it. It ain't gonna just happen. Hey, I agree, man. I One thing I hit me over working at it, like I worked the school I worked at was Montessori through 12th grade, so I got to be around kids every day for the last 6 years. This isn't working as it seems. There's the select few, but those are the ones who don't have a don't feel accepted at home. Like if you don't have a good relationship with your parents, man, it's really easy to get caught up in a Black Lives Matter or to question yourself because you don't have reassurance. But no, yeah, this what the leftists are trying to do is definitely gonna hurt them. Because what I look at is the most people who push the blackness are people who didn't grow up in the inner city. I don't know many die-hard black power people who grew up around that violence that look that way. Like we're taught all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Um, and you judge a person by their character, not their actions. You know, that's how our daddies and our uncles raised us. But if you were that one-off white black person who got to grow up in a majority white neighborhood, and your perspective is gonna be a little flawed based on what TV is showing. And now because races grow up so intermixed, everyone's getting their racial perspective off of the media. But yeah, I definitely think it's gonna blow back for sure. Young white rappers too, like people like Token, young white boys that are proud of themselves, up church, proud of where they come from. I think it's so disheartening to make a young boy feel bad about himself, bro. Do you know how hard it is to go try out for a basketball team or a football team where they had the confidence to ask a girl out? Like, it's a lot comes with being in this world anyway, young boy or young girl. Um, and to try to destroy that confidence, it ain't gonna work. I don't see that many young men accepting that they can't be something. If anything, you're gonna get a lot more rebels that say, man, if I gotta go out, I'm gonna go out with a bang. You gonna remember me. I just see a lot of young boys taking that route. Why not? Why go out the soft way? Oh yeah, knowledge is power, man. And everyone wants knowledge. I don't know anybody who wants to be dumb. That's why I say money isn't so valuable. Because I could leave my children $100 million, but if I don't teach them anything and give them any wisdom, they're just some rich dummies. In which in society we got a lot of rich dummies. However, man, the principles that I can teach them and the ethics and the morals, those are things that can be passed down generation. I seen today a stat that said, Asian children outperform, black and white children in the first generation. But give it 3 generations and they perform on the same level because you get comfortable after you've been here. The first generation has a more of a push to work hard. And I'm trying to put that fire in my children. I can't say if it's going to work or not, but I definitely want to keep that fire going so they can pass it down to their children. So where you understand, if you don't work, you don't eat, man. Nothing is given to you. Everything is earned. My God. My God. Yeah, man, we got a lot in common, man. The world wants us to think we don't, but we just trying to figure this thing out. And you put men in the room, bro. Hey, men, especially if it's used, I ain't saying women are bad, but men have you put all races of women in a room, they're gonna have the same complaints about men. You put women in a room, they're gonna have the same complaints about women. It comes with the territory. When we on a basketball team, shit, I don't care that the center is a white boy. I want to know when I throw it in the post, are you going to catch it and score, bro? If I miss this layup, are you going to put it back up? Man, I've never been in the concept of disconnected in race, especially when it came to sports. Sports is something that should transcend all of this trash. Oh yeah, man, go and watch that game, bro. I support you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Yeah, man, I look. The country is where I'm coming to. I was talking to my children this morning, and they was my boys. They 10 and 8, and I said, man, I can't wait to take us hunting, dog. Go out here and pop some deer, man. Look here, all those experience. When I was a kid, my daddy was having me shoot guns in the air. Now that'd be ignorant of me to have my children shoot guns in the air, but I'm still gonna show them how to use guns. So that's why we gonna go do it out in the country. And fatherhood is something that's needed, whether it's the country boys or the little boys in the hood. Because if you don't have no guidance, there's nothing in media that's about to make you feel comfortable about yourself at all. I mean, my daddy was a rebel to this world. Everybody told me my daddy was crazy and didn't know what he was talking about. And because he had, his issues with my mama, I kind of judged him. But when I grew up, I was like, damn, bro, he really was trying to put me on game. Yeah, yeah. I remember doing little odds and end jobs, man, cutting grass, knocking on doors, asking people if they need they snow shovel, all of that, man. That's real childhood memories. Landscaping is fun. Landscaping is fun. Anything where you get to use your hands is really like valuable as a youth. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't do. I didn't go to college. I started working right away. Right, worked at ATM. Every job I've had was always interesting because, but never I never did the college route. I don't think I wouldn't have did good in college. I messed with too many girls. I would have been terrible because I was running through them. I had no I just nothing was off limits. I was young and reckless. But I think everybody has a different path and everything is meant to do. But you gotta do the work, man. You gotta use your hands. You gotta use your feet, and you gotta have faith in yourself. You gotta have my grandma owned her own house. My grandpa owned a house. They had an RV. They retired. They traveled around to all the states, and my grandma used to send us a postcard to the house. So I never had a limited mindset of what I couldn't do and couldn't become. That's all society trying to break your confidence, trying to break you. They don't want you to believe in yourself. But this is cool, man. I enjoyed talking to so many people. Like I said, with 23,000, and I know YouTube be shadow banning and people don't get notifications. So I just want to start trying to engage a little more with the world. Yeah, no, man. My kids, we want the four wheelers, man. We want the whole experience. Living in the city, there's houses everywhere. You can't. And now most people in the city don't have kids. I want to say in my neighborhood, I'm the only person that got kids. So I'm like a weirdo because I'm outside throwing a football, and everybody else just sitting on their porch, sipping tea. It's really wild to see the change. Like when I was a kid, we was outside every day. You got out of school, went in the house, put your backpack down, and you went straight outside to play. And now, my children, if they ain't playing with daddy, my sons got virtual friends online. I think this is so weird what's happening in society. They got thousands and thousands of friends in real life, but don't have one friend to walk and knock on the door and say, "You want to come outside and play?" It's everything is upside down right now. But God wins in the end. That's dope. I'm gonna send all my children gonna go to college unless they go pro in sports. But, I definitely think if my parents would have been as educated as I am, then I go to college. But I say, man, everything is passing the baton on, and my parents got me this far, and it's my job to get them that far. Um, that's why I don't look at the racial narratives in America, because if everybody looked at their family and say, all right, am I doing better than the last generation? Am I doing better than the last generation? Then you're more prideful about yourself. Then you happy. But if you still have this, damn, I'm not doing good enough, then of course you'll be broken. But for myself, no, I'm not a millionaire yet, but I'm able to provide for all seven of my children. And my dad and mom struggled to take care of me and my brother. So how am I not proud of how far I've come? What they did got me here, and it's my job to pass the baton on and to keep going. And if everyone looked at their life like that, man, we have a happier society. Because no one is going to be perfect. Nobody's born into the greatest life. You don't know what the next person is going through, but it's your job to keep moving this thing forward. Because we all connected. Energy is real. Man, I just don't. I think I just, like I said, with the mature mind now that I have, I think college would be cool. But I just personally think you're setting children up for failure at 17, 18, 19, sending them off to a foreign environment, not much supervision, and expecting them to do anything productive. I wasn't productive in high school. So if you would have, I don't know, man. My life was different because my parents, like I said, my dad was in jail a lot, and my mama just really let me be free. So I had girls spending the night with me at 13, 14 years old. So if I just know me and what I was doing at such a young age, I just think college would have been terrible. A downfall. I mean, I got a lot of kids for a reason. I paid for a lot of abortions for a reason, and I'm glad I haven't been put in more circumstances to trust my judgment because I failed a lot in life. Oh yeah, man. Like I said, kids push you more than what they ever know. My oldest daughter is 12. She'll be 13 soon, and she thinks that I'm the greatest person. But like, I promise, I wouldn't be who I am without you. Having a daughter changes you as a human in every ways. Because I don't view women as sex objects anymore. But I'm not naive by how I used to look at women and understanding that the world is going to view my daughter like that. So it's my job to protect her, to equip her with the guidance and wisdom of how to navigate life, and to not be another girl who falls into the feminist narrative of not knowing what her true value is in life, and it has nothing to do with taking off her clothes and showing her body. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, they go. Well, I mean, I'm really big on pushing like art, creativity. The way I'm raising my kids right now is really different. But I want them to always stay in touch, in tune with who they are and what they love. It's really easy to get lost in this world once you get older and start getting friends. So yeah, I want them to always have a passion and something they pursue. And right now, I raised them as little adults. They got more freedom in the world just because daddy won't always be there forever. And I told him, man, I'm looking forward to the day y'all don't look up to me, but y'all view yourself as my equal. I look forward to seeing what my children become because I've never raised children before them, so there's no ego in it. Like, I can't say I'm doing a great job or a bad job. It's totally, I just want to see what happens and with this thing. It's children are the greatest case study in the world, and especially with having them with multiple different women, you get to see the effects of raising children in the same home versus mama out of town versus mama on the weekends. You get to see all of that and what it does. Yeah, man, our toilet broke the other day, and I went to Home Depot and got all the equipment and watched some videos and fixed it. And I felt like a plumber myself, bro. I said I might start my own plumbing business as good as I fixed that toilet upstairs. We need tradesmen, so I may be my own Johnny's Plumbing LLC. I don't know, but man, it feels good to use your hands to do some manual work. So I'm sure welding is gonna be fun. Any of that manual stuff, I fell in love with. I didn't like it as much when I was younger. I think society pushes school in the other way, but man, I love using my hands to do some stuff. Even been outside, I love cutting the grass. I think that's so peaceful. Put on my polo boots, put on my cowboy hat. I'm outside cutting the grass, dog. Oh yeah, I know your son killing out there with the swimming game. Yeah, yeah. I definitely think now the NBA, they got the G League where you can get paid. There's so many different avenues. I wonder what's going to keep happening with sports. Now sports you can get paid in college, so we gonna see what comes with that. I look forward to seeing. I guess I look toward the future. Everything I say makes sense. I see the Duke's women team by 2035 having a full roster of like trans female athletes. It's gonna be fun to watch. Like, I definitely will watch a WNBA game when they start getting trans athletes because it's gonna be nutty. But I see that's where it's going with this whole crossover thing. I think personally the worst part about college because I had this thought like I was listening to I can't remember who it was, but he was saying how it was a white guy, and he was saying how he was the first person to go to college in his family. And what I thought in my head is like, have you noticed with Black Americans when they before Black Americans went to college, they were all more conservative, and the more that they go to college, they become liberal. Like we have more liberal people now because we have more college educated people now. Just my thought, I could be reaching a little bit, but Black America all used to think a certain way, and then you would watch the one-off family member go to college and they come back and thought differently. And the reason I say that is because Angela Davis, who was leader of the Black Panther, I don't know if she's leader, but was a part of it. She would say when she would go to the inner cities and she would talk to the Black community about communism, none of them knew what it was. They were just, of course, like I was taught that capitalism is bad and it's racist and all that. And so the Black communists were always the educated ones. It was never coming from the inner city, from the masses. You know, Malcolm X had conservative principles. Uh, and even Malcolm X was more in tune with the hood than any other political person we've had to this day. I can't think of nobody who was really, really with it like Malcolm. And that's why we don't hear about him as much. Oh yeah. Oh man, the V8. Did you see the news that Dodge is about to stop making the Chargers and the Challengers and the Hellcats and all that? I mean, I'm heartbroken. But they really trying to kill masculinity in full effect, taking away that roar from that V8 when you get that Charger on that highway or that Challenger. Oh man, me and my friends used to race on the highway. It ain't safe. I wouldn't do it now. I wouldn't let my kids do it. But racing on the highway is probably one of the most thrilling things to do between the ages of 16 and 22. Is getting on that straightaway and just yum and hoping don't no police get behind you. Yeah, I couldn't get with school, man, just because my parents had domestic violence. So I used to be sitting in school having anxiety, thinking, man, is my mom at home dead? Or mom and daddy fighting? I used to get out of school like and would just run home, like and have a panic attack, thinking that I was gonna open the front door and see my mom dead, and I would open the door and she's sitting there watching all my children or young and the wrestlers. I'm crying, there's tears coming down my face, and she's like, "Boy, what's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Mama, my brain told me you was dead." I just, man, growing up in domestic violence, now I can laugh about it, but as a kid, it threw me off a lot, man. I couldn't focus on school because I was really focused on, are my parents on good terms? Are they fighting today? Can we be smiling and laughing and happy, or do I need to walk on eggshells, or do I need to be like the glue? Um, I used to meditate my mother and father's argument because I wanted them to be on good terms. Not meditate, but I was like the mediator. I used to sit down and say, "All right, can y'all get along? And what can we?" That was my whole life. Like, man, I always was in the middle of my mom and daddy's everything, and no kid should have to do that. It sucked, but whatever. It comes to the territory of everybody has a journey to overcome. Yeah, man, they getting rid of the muscle cars, man. I think who didn't race cars? Yeah, just there's a lot of things that you do as a young boy. I don't think it's so much of being rebellious. It just who wouldn't want to drive a car as fast as you can? Like I can't think of anybody who just wouldn't want to try that. Oh no, man, I ain't checked it out. It's coming next though. It's coming next. It's coming soon. I got it on the list. I got it wrote down so I can peep it out. I got like a bunch of tabs right here now. Yeah, no, man, my parents, it was wild, you know. But that's why I think why I'm so uh alert parent because I understand everything I do, man. It affects my kids, and I'll never know what parts of their life that I'm missing. I'll never know what like, man, daddy, I wish you would have did this. I wish you would have did that. But I know I won't be perfect. Nobody is perfect. So it's telling them, hey, if I'm missing something, if I ain't doing something right, let me know. Because you don't need to be 35 saying, daddy, you overlooked this, and that's why I got trauma. No, cuz talk to me now so we can fix it. If more people had better relationships with their parents, the world is a better place. But most people they've never been able to really be open with their parents. They never have a committed spouse that they can really be open to. Most people that you pour your deeper secrets out, they end up using it against you or judging you. So we got a lot of people walking around with just a lot of inner trauma and inner resentment that you project out, unfortunately. You know, until you make the unconscious conscious, you'll repeat it over and over. and just say it's supposed to be this way. And the media is reinforcing that by giving you a pill every other day to take, so you never have to deal with your true emotions and what's going on inside of you. Like, I think everybody has to have a breakdown before they can have a breakthrough. And it's easy to want to drown yourself out with music, with scrolling social media. But the best thing you could do is just sit alone with your thoughts, your feelings. Like, I love being alone. It's the greatest thing in the world, because when you love yourself purely, you're not running from nothing. But I know what it's like when I had inner demons and I had stuff that I didn't want to face. I always was running off to be with this girl, to be with that girl, to distract myself with some pleasure. But the more you distract yourself with pleasure, the more you eventually got to face that pain. But when you face that pain and you heal that pain, on the other side of that it's peace. I won't say happiness, because happiness is up and down. But peace is something that's just there. It's just consistent, and every human should strive for peace. That's just my thoughts, though. Man, I appreciate everybody for rocking with me. I really didn't plan for being on here for about 2 hours. That's dope, though. I gotta pick my kids up from school soon. More reaction videos to come. I hope everybody, man, keeps becoming the greatest version of themselves, the highest human acts to inspire once again. And you are new energy into this world. There will never be another you. And everything you see around you started out as an idea. So what can you think about? What can you do? What can you create? What can you add? You are valuable. You can do anything. You can accomplish anything. Faith, consistency, and hard work. Appreciate for everybody for tuning into the stream. Till next time, we outie. Peace. Also, throw me some more videos to react to, man. Throw them in the comments. Follow me on IG. Follow me on Twitter. All that good stuff. We're going to be in touch. We're going to change the world one video at a time, one live stream at a time. Yes, sir.